Hmm.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It's Hood with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about the first Sephiroth, Kether, in this Gnostic Kaballah series. Now, before we get into the main presentation, let me just bring you guys up to speed with a quick review. So, Gnostic Kaballah is going to be an 11-part series on my Substack channel, and I will partner it up with the video series that you're seeing now. If you want to get the basic, protocols on this particular subject, I do have an article that is linked in the description, as well as a video that talks about just the basic protocols of Gnostic Kaballah. And not to like be so short about it, but it's very important that as we go through this 11-part series of Gnostic Kabbalah or Gnostic Kabbalah, it will go. Yesterday I said Gnostic Caliber, so it's going to be different variations on the theme. However, as we discuss these various of topics, the most important part is that you are willing to do your own work. And within these particular articles, there are going to be a lot of links. So, in this particular article related to Kether piece, there are a lot of links, right? There are a lot of footnotes. So, if things don't make sense, if you want to ask questions in the comments, you can. The whole series is going to be five. Well, just it's just for premium members of the Substack. So the premium membership is $5 a month. I'm not rushing through these articles, but I'm not taking my time either. They're gonna be there maybe in 3 days, maybe in 4 days, just depending on based upon how much I got to do versus how much I can write and transmute this knowledge. At first, this was very abstract to me. I didn't understand it. And then working through Kether made a lot of sense of a lot of things. Like it put a lot of different things into perspective. And that's what I'll be sharing with y'all today. So there is sort of like there's always going to be a backdrop or a point of reference or some prerequisites to the knowledge that's being presently stated. But that information is always going to be available. Just based upon how you consume information. I like to read, but I also like to listen to videos. Like if it's certain information that I want to learn sometimes, I will sometimes look for the video before like search for stuff and read about it. So that's why I'm doing the videos, but I'm also writing the articles so people can like really dive into this. This is going to be very, very deep, but it's also very rewarding. At first doing it, I'm like, yo, this don't really make sense and I don't know why I'm doing it, but at the end of this article I was very satisfied and very like, okay, now that we got Kether out the way, let's deal with the next Sephiroth, because I'm telling you it's very abstract and it's very hard to wrap your mind around some of this information. And I think I know why, because as like when I be studying I be like really getting into shit. So I'll be reading books and stuff like that about the subject just in my free time, right? So yesterday I was reading this book and it was saying how you should be at least 40 years old before delving into the study of Kabbalah. I'm 41. So I'm like, hmm. And that got me to kind of parse back my spiritual journey, and then I'm like, so that's why that was happening. That's why I was reading this book. That's why I was processing this. That's why I wasn't making sense. That's why I wasn't connecting the dots. That's why. That's why. That's why. That's why. That's why. That's why. And I'm like, okay. So now it's not a specific, like they said, if you 20 and you listening to this, it's not a strict rule, but this age is traditionally associated with the level of maturity, wisdom, and established knowledge in other Jewish texts. So when you're going through the Kabbalah, well, basically, and I hope this happens for you too, certain memories are jogged, certain Bible verses, certain Quran verses, certain Talmud verses, whatever, certain Hindu Vedic, and me is Gnostic. And like that's what it's about. It's like going through the Kabbalah is going to make sense of everything that you've experienced in the past, and it allows you to be present. So in that first video, we talked a lot about sexual alchemy. Sexual alchemy reestablishes the purity within the being. Because before sexual alchemy, the being is shrouded in guilt, shame, and embarrassment and fear. If that makes sense, put a one in the chat. So, one of the first heavy concepts that we are dealing with in reference to Kabbalah is going to be the three negative veils of existence. And the three negative veils of existence, excuse me, eyes itching. I mean, I'm about to get some money. I make everything a superstition. My damn elbow itch. Oh, that mean I'm about to get some money coming in, y'all. Fork fall on the ground. Oh, that smells like prosperity. No, but for real, the most important concept in relation to Kaballah is going to be the concept of the three negative veils. Nothing, the infinite and the infinite light. Light equating to knowledge, knowledge equating to things that could be done on this sphere. I watched a reel that was talking about how boring it is on Earth, and people be boring as hell, right? They don't want to research, study, and learn and implement nothing. They would assume that there is nothing to do. When you are bored, you are disconnected from the limitless light that is raining down on you like rain. It's like invisible rain pouring down on you. But if you had a cup and that cup was upside down and you needed water to survive, and you kept that cup upside down for eternity until you transitioned out the body, you would have never drunk the sustenance of water. That's why the Kabbalah teaches us to receive what is already there. So, once again, complex stuff that's not really complex, that's extremely simple, but we have to begin to understand it at the most deepest spiritual, realistic, and practical levels, or else it's just words. So, in addressing the negative veils of existence, this is the same way as if you see somebody looking good, at the bar. They didn't get dressed at the bar when they saw you. Oh shit, there go Jermaine. Let me get dressed. They got dressed well in advance before they got to the bar. So when you get to a point in your life where you feel as though you have nowhere to turn, you can't go up, you can't go down, you can't go left, you can't go right. You created that a long time ago by disconnecting from source and just operating in your full autonomy. Throughout these next 10 videos where we go through each and every Sephirat or Sephirah, you will hear that word and it won't make sense to you. Therefore, the reality of the tree of life goes in one ear and out the other. The Sephirah means to count. But when you look at Hebrew text, it's very Ebonic like. Isn't it weird how it went from slang to Ebonic to AAVE? This world crazy as hell. Put a one in the chat if you ever seen that growth. Well, that's Hebrew. A sephirah is a symbol used in Kaballah to represent levels of manifestation ranging from the very subtle to the very dense. When you meet a person at the bar and you face to face with them, you are at a very dense manifestation. But when they were at the house putting on that wig, putting on makeup, your imagination of them, like, man, I'm going out tonight. I'm gonna meet a girl. She gonna look good. It's very subtle. It's like not clear, but you might be like James Brown and you have that feeling. Baby, you got that feeling. And this is what Kether is. Kether is so important to how the overall thing is going to play out. Kether is the point in time in which you deciding what outfit you gonna wear for the day. So that's very subtle. Wearing the outfit at the club is very dense. And this is an analogy for working through the Sephiroths or counting or ritual. To do a ritual means to count. When you are a serious magician, you are shaking it from the very subtle into the very dense. Or else you just, a non playable character getting directed by the government and Donald Trump telling you what you should and should not do. At a certain point, you got to recognize the game. Generally, these levels are represented in the structure of 10 Sephiroth called the Tree of Life. The 10 Sephiroth are 10 sphere structure is simplified arrangement of more complex renderings. So there's 10 Sephiroth, but there are also three Kabbalistical veils of the negative existence, and this is your 13. This is why there are 12 hours in a day or on a clock, rather. When they operate in levels of 12, they're minusing the one, which is the 13, But understanding Kabbalah is the understanding that 13 is the true number. There are three negative views of existence, and this is very important to how things are going to formulate and manifest. At what point have you ever been out and somebody just bum rushed you and said, "Look, we about to do an extreme makeover on your ass. You looking crazy right now, but it's okay. Just come into this booth and we gonna put you together." I'm using that analogy because that is how people are approaching their spiritual life. They are fucked up in a fucked up situation, and now they're utilizing God as a form of help. But when the shit gets thick, you can't get help. People will be like, "What herb I can take, hood? I got the flu." None. Go to the doctor, go to the hospital. Get some synthesized medicines at this point. Get some pharmacology. Get some sorcery. That's what you need at this point. The herbs is for you to take every day so you don't get the flu. Once you get the flu, you pretty much fucked. Once the relationship is over, you pretty much fucked. Once you broke, you broke. So, from a Kabbalistic point of view, you can't start from where you're at. You got to start from the beginning. And once you get to the beginning, you got to go to the negative. You create from the negative point of view, from the negative veil. So, this is a hard place to be for people. You got to strip down your ego. You got to strip down your beliefs. You got to strip down everything to even get a glimpse, because all of these particular principles are representing you in your force field. There is no universal veils of negative existence. So in reference to your personal ego, you're going to have to strip that down to get into a space where you can create your life, because your life has already been created from you for you a lot of times. The way that you handle money, the way that you emotionally handle things, the way that you process things is not even something that you have even created. In your formative years, you wasn't even fully conscious. So therefore, it is very important as a spiritual being to strip yourself down to get to a place where you can begin to understand what I'm about to read. There are three Kabbalistic veils of negative existence, and in themselves, they formulate the hidden ideas of the Sephiroth not yet called into being. The things that are upsetting you, the things that you are fighting for, the things that you are passionate about are already into being. Therefore, when we are dealing with the negative veils of existence, we have to deal with the things that haven't been called into being yet. If we want any creation aspect or any co creation credit to the thing. And all of this potential, infinite light, is concentrated in Kether, which in this sense is the Malkuth of the hidden ideas. So the reality of spirituality found within you is in an intense meditation protocol where you strip down your ego and you get off the things that have been you've been just thinking about all the time. All the things that you have been processing, you're just processing it. And I gotta get a job. I gotta, man, I don't want to go to this place and my mama this and all of the things you're processing, right? And this is your dominant energy. You want people to feel sorry for you. You want some pussy. You want some ass. You want some penis. You want all of these particular things. You out here searching. You LGBT. You masculine. You feminine. You you omni. You beta. You all of the Greek letters. But when it comes to like get into a space of finding God within, which requires you to let go all of that. But I won't do that. So the manifestation of spirituality, the opening of that door is found in Kether. The manifestation of Malkuth is found in Kether. It is all synonymous, but it is extremely different, and one is like not even related to the other. Let me give you a succinct explanation or analogy to what I'm talking about. A seed in a tree or a seed in a fruit, they don't look alike. You wouldn't look at a seed and be like, "Oh, this a pear, ain't it?" Nah, this ain't a pear. This is an orange, nigga. This is an orange. How you know it's an orange? Because I can tell by the seed. Now, if you're a seedologist, I know like you can probably differentiate what seeds are which. But for the average person, a seed is just a seed. You're gonna have to wait until it manifests to see what it actually is. This is Kether. Kether is a seed. Malkuth is what that seed will grow and nurture itself to be. Now, the seed for which you are going to grow and develop through the remainder of your life is up to your control. In reference to the negative veils of existence, and in order to get into a primary place of co creating the life that you want to live, it requires you to meditate. It requires you to relinquish the ego. It requires you to do it. So you can then determine, okay, this is the seed that I'm going to plant. And this is what I'm going to manifest through each Sephiroth. Because if you can wrap your mind around Kether being a seed, then every other Sephiroth is a fucking piece of cake. So think what I'm proposing to you and referencing and working through each and every Sephiroth through a specific meditative protocol in reference to that which you wish to manifest for yourself. What I'm proposing is that you get on a horse and ride a horse to the city that you want to get to which all you got to do is stay on the goddamn horse. This is spiritualism. This is magic at its core. But if you're not with it, if you don't understand it, you're gonna be focused on everything else. Hood, I got a hard time meditating. It'd be like, it's so hard to meditate. Like, I heard what you said about Gnostic Kaballah and you having to meditate and stuff like that. So that's why I booked a reading. What? That don't even make sense. Yeah, I booked a reading with you, Hood, so we can I need to learn how to meditate. I cannot strip down your ego. I cannot go into your anguish, your trauma, your torment, and release it. Y'all niggas will go to hypnotherapy, a cryo tank, a fucking all of these particular contraptions, a dark room, a light room, a hot room, a cold room, and not strip down your ego. Your ego is bringing you your ego soon as you telling a nigga, man, guess what I just did? I had the most wonderful, sublime spiritual experience. You gotta do this thing that I just did. How much is it? $5,000, 5 racks. It's 5 racks. But I'm telling you, it's a wonderful spiritual experience. But hey, bro, you got some of that weed though? I'm trying to hit that shit. Thought you just had a life changing spiritual experience. Yeah, but I still got to pay bills. I just spent 5 racks on the spiritual experience. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to pay rent. In the spiritual community, over these past couple of years, I've seen with my own eyes spiritualists charge 3, 4, $5,000 for nothing. And I knew it was nothing at first. I didn't say nothing because I didn't know it was nothing. I felt like it was nothing, but the realization of the Kabbalah is that you must do your own work. And it ain't no amount of money you can pay. Is if a person that love you that will say, man, shit, join a Substack for $5. Because joining the Substack can never save a person. Reading an article can never save a person. Watching a video can never save a person. It's going to be what I'm talking about right now, the ability to meditate so much that you can begin to perceive the concept of Kether, like like within yourself. Like you can see your crown. Kether means crown. You can realize and visualize who you truly are or who you truly want to be because all of it exists within Kether. And thus, Kether is in Malkuth and Malkuth is in Kether. That's why 1 equals 10, 1 plus 0. And who you see yourself to be is who you're going to manifest into. So within the understanding of Kether, you bring yourself up into a certain level of correspondences. Kether is the number 1. And it's also the crown. In astrology, it is Pluto. So I have a video on YouTube called Pluto Explain, where before I've been doing this research in the past week, but I did that Pluto video in probably like 2017. And within the understanding of Pluto, I state that an acorn is the same as an oak tree. So wherever you figure your life to be as a human, the transformation in reference to the spiritual, and an analogy to that would be an oak tree. Your spiritual life is likened to an oak tree, and your human life is likened to an acorn, a seed. So when we're referencing Kether and being able to open our mind to it, we're opening our mind to a deep transformation of our God force energy. So when the religious or the spiritual in any civilization comes to the realization of God, he's only perceiving Kether within himself. So a believer of God, a knower of God, is this is why there isn't no outward representation of God's nowhere, right? We never seen a person fly from the sky and say, I am God. Yet we have billions of people bear witnessing to some form of religion. Now you can call it mind control, while I would call it Kabbalah. These individuals are receiving the God forms within their mind and and ultimately they don't know what to do with that information. So therefore, they're just going to church, they're just going to the mosque, they're just going to the temple because they don't know what else to do. They don't know the next step. And for a lot of us, we exit out of that particular paradigm, and then we're just left to our own devices. We want other people to guide us, to show us, to open that door for us, and it never happens. We spend all of our time, we spend all of our money, and eventually, the more spiritual you become, the more jaded you will become because you will start to see everybody is just on the same shit, whether spiritual or not. The reason that is because you must do your own work. You're never going to find it in a group, in a community, in a leader, in a guru, in a class, and you deciding to spend an exorbitant amount of money. You're never going to find it. Never. You're never finding it outside yourself. All of these principles, all of these concepts in reference to God is something that you receive from the limitless light of the universe based upon your meditation and your opening of your heart and your ability to understand that you could actually receive. So it breaks down into a level of worthiness. So this is the tree of life. And in this particular lecture conversation, we're going to be talking about Kether, the first Sephiroth at the very top of the tree of life. And in a future slide, I'll overlay Kether to show you how it is positioned over the body. And with each Sephiroth that we go through, we'll deal with the realistic aspect of it in reference to the human, because this is how we are to understand knowledge. If a human was so privileged to design a skyscraper, you can access that same knowledge. Or Michael Jackson putting out Thriller, you can access that same knowledge. All of these people received limitless light and manifested it from the subtle to the dense, from the imagination to the realistic. And that's what the Kabbalah is teaching specifically. And so I take a short left turn, but at the same time, keeping it succinct in reference to Kether. So the Bible verse that I'm showing you is taken from Isaiah 28, verses 7 through 10. And this is some Jewish priests mocking Isaiah, who is a prophet. And they're mocking him because he doesn't know advanced knowledge, and he is being repetitive, he is being basic, and he is being fundamental. And the Jewish priest is like, dog, we need that advanced shit. You're not advanced. You don't know the secrets and the mysteries. And Isaiah's like, he's being mocked. So the script is, whom will he teach knowledge? And whom will he make to understand the message? Those just weaned from milk, referencing the babies. Those just drawn from the best breast, referencing the babies. For precept must be upon precept, and precept be upon precept, line upon line, and line upon line, here a little, there a little. And so in the Hebrew, that's translated into a certain kind of way, to whereas it's like it sounds like some names. And so what the Gnostics did with this text, they took from precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, and made it into where it represented something deeply abstract, so abstract that these three, this little section was the secret name for God. This little section was the Ein Sof Or of it. And I'll explain it. I had the slide, but it wasn't showing up and I deleted it. And now I remember because I couldn't remember, like, what was this slide that I deleted? Now I remember it. So I'm going to pull up Gospel of Thomas Logion 13. And all I'm trying to do is elucidate on what Kether represents because Kether is very abstract. And in reference to somebody acting like they know what it is and they could actually tell you what it is, that's a lie. So here we go. And this whole script illustrates it beautifully. Jesus said to his disciples, "Compare me. Tell me who I am like." Simon Peter said to him, "You are like a righteous angel." Matthew said to him, "You are like a wise philosopher." Thomas said to him, "Master, my mouth is wholly incapable of saying whom you are like." That is Kether. That for which you are incapable of saying what it is. I can only scratch the surface because when you get into your meditation and you release your ego, you release your reference points, you release your desires, and you go into that whirlpool and you go into that wormhole and you meet your other selves and you have the experience within yourself and you have the communication within yourself. How you going to explain that to somebody? You can't. You can try your best, but the experience is not the words. So Jesus corrects Thomas and he says, "I am not your master, for you have drunk," meaning that you have experienced Kether and have become drunk from the bubbling spring which I have caused to gush forth, which is the current and the alignment of truth. And so he took him, withdrew, and spoke him 3 words. Those 3 words are what I referenced earlier in Isaiah 28:10. In Hebrew, precept upon precept, uh, line upon line, precept upon precept, um, they're a little, or whatever the case may, whatever the they was yapping about was translated into, well, the translation means kalakwal, salasal, zeser. And this is what they said that Jesus whispered to Thomas. So basically, the Gnostics or the Nacenes were making shit up because if I say this is the secret name, this is the secret word of God, what that make you do? Be like, well, what is it? So a nigga just made up some shit, right? Like literally, I can show it better on an article. You can see it better. So these words were not originally Gnostic. They are garbled Greek translations of the Hebrew phrases of Isaiah 28, verse 10. So precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, is translated to the secret words that that Jesus told Thomas. And the reality of the situation, based on truth, is that Jesus didn't specifically have to tell him anything. And the analogy is, if you did your own work, you don't have to like tell nobody a secret. That person just have to do their own work. It's nothing that you can say. And so, very naturally, he took him in, withdrew, and spoke to him 3 words. Now, when Thomas came back to his companions, they asked him, "What did Jesus say to you?" Like, very naturally, right? A person like, "What'd he say?" Thomas said to them, "If I tell you one of the words which he said to me, just one of the words, you will take up stones and throw them at me, and fire will come out them stones and burn you up." A short way of saying, if I tell you, I'm gonna have to kill you. So therefore, and it's not that serious. It's more in a play on words that if you're going to begin to perceive Kether, if you're going to perceive the deeper levels on the tree of life, then you must do it yourself. So when we're referencing Kether, we're referencing pure potential. But just like knowledge, where knowledge means to know somebody sexually, pure means to be sexually pure, virgin, chaste. So does that mean that only virgins can access the Kaballah? No. This is an analogy in reference to only the sexually alchemized, the ones that aren't controlled or manipulated through the levels of sex, to whereas you can fixate and focus and study and disregard the sexual energy. If you a young man or an older man and you out here chasing, you stop chasing and you get into your studies and you sit with that energy, you're doing alchemy. The more you make, and it goes deeper into the meditation where you trying to meditate, but you think of other shit to do. And so you stop meditating and you just do the other shit, or you don't focus because there's other shit on your mind. What we're talking about is an alchemized mind and an alchemized being that reference pure. And this comes from doing the work and just letting life, like letting shit pass you by, letting urges and temptations and distractions just pass you by. Also, potential, what is possible. When we are when we are referencing what is potentially about to happen, is generally from a negative space, from a fear space, from a worry. Well, this could possibly happen. I could possibly experience this bad thing. What if this bad thing happened to it? Why would I take a risk and this bad thing could send me to this place and that place? So this is where maturity comes in. This is where trust comes in and alignment comes in, because the potential is in reference to the seed that is being planted. A sunflower, a rose, you must decide in reference to what you are possibly or potentially going, and this has to be conscious. This can't be a point in reference where you're just like, oh, anything is possible, hood. That's like a garden. It's like what you growing in your garden. Anything. Got 5 acres of anything, hood. And this is how people play with their life. So, as promised, this is that diagram of Jesus being on the cross, but also the tree of life, because they said they hung up on a tree in earlier versions of the text. In some Gnostic versions of a text, Jesus was hung upon a tree in reference to a human being that's receiving light from the Father. And so when you say Father, right, that's the person who birthed you. A father is a relationship. Like, if that's my father, it can't be your father too. Like, it's my father. So, in reference to the Lord's Prayer, our Father who art in heaven is specifically referencing Kether. It's specifically referencing a part of your being that has the seed of creation. So when we go through each level of the Lord's Prayer, you will understand it Kabbalistically. And the reason why you might look at a Jewish person or an Orthodox Jewish person and be like, man, they rich. It's because they tapped into a specific formula that we're going through in this, but you have to be careful and you have to understand because one will say, all right, I want to be rich too, and your ego be all out of control. And a lot of people enter into spiritual truth and they don't have their mind together, and from that space they're like crazy. They let it drive them crazy because they're not balanced, they're not grounded. So it's like this whole process is so organic for me in reference to going through chakra nova and getting that fundamental understanding to drive the energy up. But what modality do you push the energy down? This is the Kabbalah. But if you are not grounded and awakened, then you have to work yourself through your chakras. If you cannot meditate, if you can't go through the process or even want to meditate, like I want a system that don't require me to meditate, then this is not for you because this is not a center or a temple where your ego can come. What you like and what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want, you so preoccupied with it, you're not able to receive. So your cup is down or your cup is already filled. So when you're ready to have an empty cup and to be taught not by me, but by the limitless light that is within you, you have to turn the cup upside up, empty it, or drink what's already in there, and allow this energy to teach, to inform, to become a new source of information and create a specific potential and possibility for what your life is based upon what you see internally, the version of you that you see. So, one of the most important aspects of this is going to be not only, it's not like saying, oh, you got to meditate, you got to meditate, you got to meditate. On the article, we get into a 3-step entrance into the no thought state. So the first step is motionlessness. So you are completely still. Any movement, it seems as though the world is about to end. Like it from you, like you don't move, but you don't fall asleep. And one of the things that really helped me propel into this state is when I drink coffee and I infuse my coffee with I'd use lion's mane, cordyceps, and oat straw. But then I might, just depending on how deep I want to go in my meditation, I will either microdose psilocybin or I'll macrodose psilocybin with the intent to meditate. So I'll drink that coffee because I got it like a coffee grinder, and I'll just add the mushrooms in the coffee. Can't really taste them. It tastes like my regular coffee. But um, an hour later, if I want to go into deep meditation, it's like my body is like relaxed, but my mind is very active and I'm very comfortable and I'm very relaxed. And this allows me and my mind to go to any place that I needed to go to. And this is just the first step. The second step is commanding the breath. So, attached to this document, which is the Kether um, on the Substack, the Kether article on the Substack or chapter, however you want to label it, there is a separate document called the Kether Meditation Protocol, and it has 3 breathwork protocols that you can work through. If I get some time today, I'm going to do a video, maybe tonight once the kids is asleep. I'm going to do a video where I'm going through all of the protocol for each Sephiroth in reference to the meditation, so you can get into a space where you can start to visualize what is actually there for you. Because I don't know what's there for you. I'll never know what's there for you. But the third phase is to still the mind and to relax the mind. And it's a 3-step process. Of course, you can visualize that Merkaba, that, vehicle that is also going to protect you and to send you into different spaces and places in different dimensions. But this whole entire process is a necessary process for you to begin to perceive who you actually are and what is that initial seed that you're placing before your life. And when we work through each and every Sephiroth, this initial image, this is what you're going to be working through. Peace, Breeze. I don't know if that's Jabri or somebody else with a whole entire different name. So yeah, that's the 3-step protocol for getting to and awakening to Sefer or to Kether. And I seen Sephiroth and I said Sephiroth and Kether put together. But anyways, as we were stating earlier, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. This is not a religious prayer more than a alchemic or Kabbalistic formula for receiving the limitless light. This is not in reference to if you are smart, if you are tall, if you are strong, if you are a man, if you are a woman. It is in reference to the person that can receive that which is already there. So, our Father who art in heaven is Kether. It is the part of our being, the seed part of our being that's connected to the all. Our father, a father is someone who carries a seed that eventually creates you. So it is a metaphor for Kether. Kether is a metaphor for a father or a God, somebody who has the power to manifest at a seed level. So understanding that what can germinate and can grow or has grown, that is godlike because it doesn't make logical sense. How do we logical a seed in a strawberry? It's amazing to think about all of the particular life forms that exist from a seed. So that within itself is a concept for how we are going to manifest a life for ourselves from a seed. This is already a real life concept that exists within the world. We just simply have to accept it when it comes to our life. Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, Malkut, as it is in heaven, Kether. So thy will be done on earth, it will manifest on earth as it is in heaven. So as you set your brain up, as you set your mind up for whatever it is, this is what the meditation instills. And you must imagine your life. Because what the fuck else is you imagining? Sometimes people worry about, like, man, I feel like it's going to be a rough time in the future. Like the inflation and stuff, Donald Trump and stuff. And I just say the reality of living in that now is crazy when you have the ability to create something completely different now that you would say, like, man, everything that Trump doing in America have a ripple effect. I live in Taiwan and this nigga Trump fucking it up in Taiwan. I moved to Japan. Trump was fucking it up in Japan. Like everywhere I go, it's just Trump. I'm in Australia. Everybody mad at Trump. And it's like that man don't have that much power in reference to the life that you want to live. I know it might not seem like that, but trust me when I say the words of the Lord's Prayer may follow the path of the 10 Sephiroth perhaps more closely than anything else in the I guess the it's the Jewish word for the Talmud, but whatever. I'm not about to mispronounce nothing. Or the New Testament. Not only are the 10 presented, but they even follow traditional groupings, those being. So basically, like I said, this is not a religious text or a religious prayer more than it is a formula for manifestation. So if ever you want to like get into a space where you want to create a mantra to help you just like get through the day, say this. Like I'll say it, but you get into a meditative state. Like you just receive from the most high. That's all you have to do. Like just really meditate and fixate and focus on receiving from the most high as I go through this formula. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. You keep saying that, you keep thinking that, you keep remembering that, and you're going to feel a shift because it's a formula. It's not a prayer to a God in the sky. Another aspect of Kether is that it is formless and it is functionless. It does not have a function. It is not there to help you. That's like if I'm eating watermelon for hydration and then I got a whole bunch of watermelon seeds and I'm thirsty, so I just drink the watermelon seeds. I'm gonna still be dehydrated. The potential that the interesting thing about God is that he is not going to give you the result in the seed. Therefore, it gives you a responsibility to observe you over many lifetimes and the possibilities and the potential of what your business or what your life can be and your family and all of these particular things. Like you can observe it, you can see it, but it ain't happening yet. You still in the projects. Still got to figure it out. Still got $20 in the bank. So it gives you a much more of an impotence. And that's why I say working through the other Sephiroth piece of fucking cake. Because Kether ain't giving you shit. It's giving you a seed. That ain't nothing. It's everything, but it ain't nothing. But you want to see it come to life. What's the point of having a watermelon seed and not eating the watermelon? So I say that all to say, stay while you're here. Because they also say the Lord's Prayer in AA meetings because it's a function. It's not a prayer. It'll help you in any situation that you're in. It can, if you smoking dope right now, say the Lord's Prayer 10 times instead of smoking some crack. And then check into a outpatient or inpatient treatment facility and get some help. So the magician, in reference to Kether, if you look at the affinity symbol, that affinity symbol is Kether or the crown. Kether don't exist directly on you. It exists a few inches above you. It is your crown. And what this represents is that it's not innate to develop or understand this aspect of yourself. But just because you don't understand this aspect of yourself, it does not mean that it is not there, that it is not prevalent. So, within reference to the crown and Kether, it is a state of development. Okay, how do I develop it? Through meditation. So what are we trying to accomplish in Kether? We are trying to accomplish causation. Before that, we are just a like we're just feeling the effects of life. Just shit is just hitting us like, I gotta go through this. We're reactionary. We're reacting to, oh man, I gotta go to work today. Oh man, gotta do this. Oh man, gotta do that. When we are ready to be the cause, when we are ready to do the magic, we are ready to operate through Kether. Like we have to go beyond our ordinary comprehension to like even begin to like process how are we going to be in control of our own life. Like, man, I am in control of my own life. Sometimes I sit there and be like, damn, I gotta go through this, I gotta go through that. Then I'm like, nigga, you in control, you better do something. And then that's when I get up and wash the dishes or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get a broom. Everything that happens in your life, you are responsible for. Every situation, every circumstance, everything. Nothing happened outside of your causation. So what are we dealing with Kether for? Conscious causation to the effects that we want to experience. While we working through the tree of life, conscious causation to what we want to experience. How are we going to do that? Through sincere meditation. We cannot control it. It's not our human understanding that's going to manifest this realization. Our hands cannot go inside the mommy's belly and make the baby, go inside the earth and create the roots that needed to make a watermelon. We tried to like, you ever go into Trader Joe's and they be like, it's a lemon. You be like, what the fuck is a lemon? It's a plum and a lemon. We cross merged it together. Like Trader Joe's, count your motherfucking days. However, the process of growth cannot be something that we control. We can manipulate the genes or some weird shit like that. But at a certain point, like we're just trying to understand this thing from a more practical level in reference to a bunch of fucking jargon. Because you're going to see stuff on the Kaballah and you're going to be like, I don't know what they're talking about. And that's because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that God is within you guys. Let's wrap this up. This shit get kind of ghetto, right? They don't want you to know that you got to have a direct experience with God, right? A nigga will sit in front of you like, I am a rabbi. You see my beard? Closer to God than you. You see this robe? You see this beard? Got a little curly Q right here, nigga. No, no, no. Trader Joe's count your fucking days. No, who can get closer to God is in reference to who can meditate the deepest. Period. Creating a meditation room, a meditation time, a meditation protocol where your personal imagination can become the ruling entity and deity for civilization. Now, personal imagination through Kether becomes purified imagination because you come into this bitch to learn. That's like if you had ever teaching a class and somebody was like had some basic knowledge, so they was always trying to like trying to teach the class too, and you like, nigga, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, more or less, like, go to the class with an empty cup. Go to your meditation with an empty cup. Your imagination is useful, but don't be trying to, all right, I see Kether as this, and I imagine this experience to feel like this, so this is what I'm looking for. No, we're talking about the highest point of your being, which got some shit to tell you. But when you are ready, when you have a purified perspective of everything that's taken place, you are prepared to go there. You ready for it. So in Wallace Waddles' The Science of Getting Rich, the formless substance is described as the fundamental, intelligent, and creative energy of the universe from which all things are made. It is a thinking substance that responds to thought, meaning that when one holds a clear mental image of what they desire and impresses that upon the substance, they can cause the thing to being created. So I want to be so real with you. I want it to make so much sense, right? I want you to get into a meditative position. We had the 3-step forms of meditation: motionless, breath work, still the mind. You have been meditating, you've been practicing, you 30 minutes in, right? And you already know what you want. You already know the life that you want to lead. After you get into a space where your mind is still, begin to visualize what you want. One's in the chat if that made sense. So I want to be so clear with that. Because what you doing all day, you visualizing what you want, you visualizing what you don't want, but you haven't meditated and reached Kether to imprint upon the seed that is going, or the subconscious mind that is going to enact that which what you truly want. You just, masturbating mentally, mental masturbation. So it was in an earlier slide. I wonder if I can point to it. There are 3 Kabbalistic veils of the negative existence, and in themselves they formulate the hidden ideas of the Sephiroth not yet called into being. They are concentrated in Kether. Okay, so therefore, what we are discussing when we're talking about Kether is the specific art of receiving the limitless light. The art of receiving the limitless light. So, this is the tricky part, guys. What you want, what you want, what you want, what you want. All right, you got it, you got it, you got it, you got it. All right, cool. Now you know you owe me something, right? you know you owe me, right? Like, I need mines, bruh. And the nigga looking at you like, what you mean, bruh? I thought you was just giving me this $1 million because I was a good person. Gnostic Kaballah is not a moral experience, meaning like you didn't cheat on your taxes, didn't cheat on your boyfriend, therefore you go and get what you want. No, it is a formula. It is like a revolving door. You know how this revolving door exists? Because this information is old as hell. But I somehow is to me, now it's to you. Guess what we gotta do now? We gotta share, bro. We gotta tell you can't be existed in life successful, getting what you want, and then a nigga be like, man, how you get it? Can't give you all that, bro. Can't give you all that, bro. Can't give it to you like that, man. You know what they say. What Snoop Dogg say in 2000 something? Shit, the game is to be sold, not to be told, my boy. Nigga hit you like that. No, we are talking about you gotta share. You gotta let people know, right? You gotta let people know what it is and what it ain't, right? That's the get down. Your desire to receive is stage one. We get it. Your desire to give over your desire to receive is stage two. Oh, damn. Your desire to receive in order to give is stage three, because this is how abundance exists in real life, y'all. If I got a business that's successful, guess what that also means? I'm paying a lot of people money, guys. A lot of people working for me. I'm paying people, giving money out. So if I wanted to receive a lot, I could really cut a lot of corners if I wanted to give a lot. Stage four, the desire to receive everything. And that leads you into the desire to give. To who? The people that's desiring to receive, right? Everybody wants something. It's an endless light of not an endless loop of light rather that to this day have existed in full and total truth. This is how we are specifically understanding it right now in this moment. Ashe. So you know a party ain't a party until you invite some voodoo in it. Need a little voodoo in this thing, you know what I mean? Nah, for real. Get the deck. I'm gonna point it out to y'all so y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Cause a lot of shit makes sense. This thing on Amazon for $27, right? It's the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot book and card set, y'all. The deck is the deck, right? Excuse me. But you need that book though. That book though. It's the best voodoo book, bro. It's the best book on voodoo, y'all. It's just giving it to you so raw. But it's relating the voodoo to the Kaballah, y'all. Then it's relating the tarot to the voodoo to the Kabbalah, y'all. It's just making it all succinct in one thing, y'all. I met the lady who drew the drawings, y'all. I did. She got a Botanica in New Orleans, y'all. I love the deck so much. I ain't even know that was the lady. I'm just talking about the deck, and she like, "Oh, you love that deck so much?" I'm like, "Yeah." I wrote it. I'm like, make it make sense, little white lady. How you know? How you have all them codes and keys like that? However, don't judge a book by its cover, right? Because the low I is in everything. Low I is in full control. Let's get into this. Because this is how we gonna get through these Sephiroths. We gonna get through this Sephiroths with a little bit of voodoo, right? We ain't, you know how niggas be like, you be online, you be Googling stuff about the Kaballah, and then niggas be like, all salt, no pepper. Like a little bit of salt too. It'd be like y'all be giving the Kabbalah, like it's like the chicken soup for Kabbalah, but it don't got no seasoning in it. It'd be the chicken, it'd be damn right chicken soup, right? Nigga, I'm not never eating no chicken soup under no circumstances. Chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side. Never been. If I'm sick, I'm doing a face steam with some herbs. Get that fucking chicken away from me. Right? It's a book called Chicken Noodle Soup for Kaballah or some shit like that. Nah. They don't understand, man. That's our shit, bro. Like it's some nigga Kaballah is some nigga shit, man. That's what I'm trying to say. Voodoo and Kaballah got more in common. Get it? More in common. Never mind. Voodoo temples in Haiti and some in North America are marked by a sacred center pole. Intricate cornmeal drawings called veve are traced on the ground and around the pole to call individual spirits. On an altar, offering food and drink are presented, singing and drumming, dance invoke particular spirits to become manifest in one of the practitioners. The spirit is said to mount and ride a practitioner as one might ride a horse. So I'm pretty sure this is somebody from the outside looking in, and they can only assume certain concepts to be. When a spirit enters from Kether, it don't have, if a spirit is riding you, then it's backward. That's like a horse. When have you ever heard of a horse riding a human? Well, you see that horse riding that human? You ain't never heard of that before because it's not a real. It's not real. Now you can set it. Yeah, I seen it back in the days. I was at the Voodoo Haitian niggas. They was like letting the horse ride them. Ooh, that's some spiritual shit right there. No, it's backwards. You are to ride the spirit as one might ride a horse. The movements, the voice, and the words of one so mounted are understood to be those of the spirit. But this is where we are incorporating voodoo, but we're also understanding it to not be in a space where the spirit is over the soul. It's like hierarchies in this shit. So the spirit in the context of Kabbalah are angelic in the space that they only are there to serve you. Gotta be so clear with this shit. Cause when you start hyping the spirit up and then like, all right, you can ride me, it's gonna break your back. If you have a horse ride you, bro, it's not gonna be pretty. It don't even make sense. So I'm saying it to say, working with spirits, working with the Loa, don't minimize yourself for nothing. Cause that's like, oh, it's all about the collective. It's all about the group. Everybody does this thing. Now you initiated into some weird shit, and now your life ain't even your life no more. I don't care what people be like, that's a part of her path. It was a part of her natural path. Fuck that. Fuck that. Your path is your path. So even the understandings of particular entities and energies, all of these things are representative of energies that are within you or archetypes that are within you. Stop falling for the okie doke. So the Merkaba and Metatron and Kether are synonyms, interchangeable, but they are all one aspect. And if you truly want to understand Kether, you can begin to understand it through the mythos of Enoch and Metatron. So in Enoch, the third book of Enoch, Metatron is portrayed as the transformed Enoch, elevated to an archangel after being taken to heaven. He is described as having a body of fire and possessing a great power and authority, and even sitting next on a throne next to God's. Enoch emphasizes Metatron's role as a divine intermediary. And once again, these aspects are written as if they are external events that are taken in a specific space and time in reality. And in reality, they are just metaphysical concepts that can come into play at any time because all of these aspects exist within you. An intermediary to God exists within you. Metatron is beyond. Meta means beyond. Tron means like automaton or machine. Beyond all of this matrix is God, and you have access to it. And these particular tools, where when you get into Metatron within itself, there is the Merkava, the I don't want to say it wrong. The Merkaba text, I'm thinking, or something to that effect. Meaning that Metatron in Jewish mysticism is often linked to the Merkaba and its associated texts, right? So it's like this represents you within a vehicle talking to source, creator, or God, whatever you want to call it. When we are taught this or when we are understood this, we're taught as if it's some external thing, like it's some person in the world named Metatron or some shit, or a person in the world named Enoch. And there's no real historical person named Enoch ever. So it's all like a story that is like taught so we could get the knowledge and then do the work. So Enoch transformed to Metatron, which is an analogy for you doing the alchemy, accessing Kether, and being different. Because why would you be the same and talking to God? Like you being like, you've been taught a lie. Your name is a lie. Your history is a lie. You don't know nothing. You get an access of truth. And then you like, all right, I'm going to still be Shaniqua Jenkins. That don't make sense. So the alchemy that takes place is a complete and total alchemy. And the beauty of this whole thing is that there's no time limit, but the ultimate goal is complete transformation in reference to who you truly are. And it all takes place within you. Okay. In Merkaba mysticism, Enoch is identified with the angel Metatron, a powerful celestial figure who guides mystics through the heavenly realms and reveals divine secrets. Metatron is described as having been transformed from the human Enoch, which is taken up to heaven and transformed into an angelic being. This transformation is the central theme in Merkabah mysticism, where the focus is on ascending to the divine realm and experiencing God's presence. And this is something that you have the ability to do through specific meditation. And that's why we are presenting the Kether meditation protocol. If you want access to it, just click the video, click the link in the descriptions, um, go to the Kether article, scroll all the way through the bottom through all this information that you need to read, but you're not going to read because niggas don't read, and click the Kether meditation protocol. Once again, you have to be a member to the Substack to get access to this Kether meditation protocol in full detail, but I will explain for those who don't have $5 because I don't even got $5, so I understand. So if you want to take notes, this is a good time to take notes, or just timestamp this particular part of the video. And I'm going to just go through the Kether meditation protocol. Once again, if you want your own copy and you want to just have your own document that you could print out, it's a 5-page document. Join the Substack for as little as $5 a month, or you can pay for the whole year for $55 in total. So appreciate all support thus far. But what is the purpose of the Kether meditation protocol? It is to prepare the body, breath, and mind for the reception of higher knowledge by entering the no state, symbolized in Kaballah as Kether. This is the apex of pure awareness and pure potential. This is the process of ascending beyond form, thought, and ego and aligning with the mystery of nothingness or the mystery of you. So, phase one, you still the body, and we are accessing motionless. You sit and lie in a neutral, comfortable position, and you begin a session of complete motionless. You start a timer for 5 to 10, 15 minutes, and you don't blink, you don't scratch, you don't shift, you don't move, you don't move. You going to get itchy, you going to want to move, you must observe it. Damn, it's crazy how much I want to scratch my arm right now. It's crazy how much the top of my head on the left side want to just be itching right now. What you need to do is not scratch it, right? You just got to allow it, right? And then what you'll get, if you just start observing it and realizing how goddamn twitchy you is, you'll start to relax some of that part. I was definitely the type of person that couldn't sit still. And through meditation, I definitely have like eased that up a lot. So, phase two, this is the breath. This is an expanded view of how to do your breath work. And so in Hebrew, ruach means breath and spirit, meaning that in order to deal with divine consciousness, you have to do so through the breath. Your breath is the vehicle for dealing with God, because your breath is what gives you life. So ultimately, the words and the thoughts and the desires is not what give you life, meaning that the breath is directly from God. So once we have this frame of reference and we enter into this, our body is completely still and we begin to do diaphragmatic breathing, or foundational breathing is when we inhale slowly through the nose, expand the belly and then the chest, and then we exhale completely through the nose and through the mouth. So we are taking a deepest breath as we possibly can, and the deepest possible exhalation for as possibly as we can for 5 minutes. And then we're going to do a triangular breath where we inhale for 4 minutes, hold for 4 minutes, and exhale for 4 minutes. If you advance, you can do more than four, but generally, the average person inhale on a four count, hold for a four count. You want to probably try to do the triangular breath for about 10 minutes. And if you have like more or less of a like I think the iPhone has a space where you can like create a timer, but then timers within a timer. So you can have like a overall 30-minute session, but then it'll beep in 5 minute intervals or something like that. But yeah, in reference to that, like you don't have to specifically time yourself if you're willing to commit to the exercises. Like you're going to do it until your consciousness say, okay, that's good. Then you move to the next thing. But if you don't have that discipline, then look for specific apps that help you keep track of your timing, because the time that you spend in meditation to the point where time don't matter, the better. If you like, damn, I'm gonna meditate for an hour or 30 minutes and then I'm gonna get to what I'm gonna get to, then it's kind of like you limiting. But if you're going into your meditation, like I know you probably got to go to work. So say for instance, you got to go to work at 8, you wake up at 4 and you say, however long this meditation is going to last. And then when this meditation is over, I'll go back to sleep or I'll go back to work, versus like trying to like fit it in an hour. Well, it's not primary at that point, but if you give yourself enough space and time to just really naturally go through this stuff, the better. So you'll do diaphragm breaths, and then you'll do triangular breaths, and then third you'll do the Kundalini breaths, which you add in the Mula Bandha. You lock that pelvic floor, and you breathe into your spine, into your chakras, and you exhale through each and every chakra. So you're activating your Kundalini, and then once you do that, you'll go into your breath of fire, which is more rapid, rhythmic inhales, where you go in and out the nose, and you're gonna feel your stomach. You can use your stomach like it's like a pump, like and you could do those for like 30 seconds to a minute intervals, just depending on how advanced you are with the particular technique. And you work through those four breathing techniques enough so that you can enter into stillness, into meditation. And if you have like some meditation music in the background, this is the time where you just kind of just go deep into the music, deep into the meditation, deep into your body. You're breathing, but you're not putting effort into it anymore. It's just kind of like you're allowing everything to exist and you're just simply observing the breath. It's simply observing your visualizations. And this is just a basic breathing protocol, right? In reference to getting into meditation, getting into the no state. So if you relax in your body, breathing, and then going into a stillness state, it's going to be so much easier for you to enter into different dimensions and enter into different space where you can set your intention. At that point, you want to just start visualizing the life that you want to live, visualizing the day, or just observing what spirit is showing you and telling you. But it's an experience, you know what I'm saying? And the more you do these specific protocols, the less you have to be conscious and entering into those states where you can just lay down and go into different states of consciousness. But I would say if you've never done a meditation for real, I would practice through the meditation protocols of relaxing the body, breathing, and then deeper relaxation understanding that that's not the work. That's like getting you ready to get to the bus stop. You know what I'm saying? And then you gotta wait for the bus to come, and then you hop on the bus. Now you in a whole different experience. Now you having a spiritual experience at that point. But preparing your body to have a spiritual experience is not a spiritual experience, and kids running around yelling, being distracted, worrying about shit. You gonna get out of this meditation like that. Okay. So hopefully that made sense and it influences you to want to tap into the meditation protocol and really get excited about going through each and every Sephiroth as they are presented. Because each Sephiroth has to have a meditation associated with it. And the reality with since each Sephiroth becomes more dense, the less meditation and less it'll be more of a realization of what has been created from the deep meditation. So it's a level of input versus output. Do you want to manifest the life that you're visualizing or desiring? And if you do, you're willing to sacrifice the time and energy it takes to meditate upon it through Kether. Therefore, it'll be easier and easier to work with it from a spiritual level through each and every Sephiroth that we work through. So, in closing, Kether, I was about to say Ketheroth. Kether is not an abstract concept, but a living spiritual state accessible through sincere practice. By stilling the body, regulating the breath, and calming the mind, one begins to touch the root of divine being. This journey isn't about belief or ritual alone. It is about direct gnosis. And working with Kether, we return to our source, unlock our true potential, and begin to live in alignment with the infinite. This path is subtle yet powerful. It is not about control, but about trust, surrender, and remembering. So, with all of that being said, I hope that I hope that this was something that is useful in reference to your spiritual arsenal moving forward. Okay. Appreciate y'all for watching and participating in the chat, but understanding that this work is not done. This work is requiring you to do the deep meditation available. And also, get to a certain level. Like if you need any type of additives or any type of supplements to help you get deeper into your meditation. I know I get deeper into my meditation with psilocybin and fusing it with my coffee, which I'm about to do right now. I'm about to relax, listen to some meditation music, drink the rest of my coffee, and get into deep meditation for these kids get here around 1 o'clock. And yeah, man, and just go with the flow. But visit White Rabbit site. You can save 25% on your order if you order today and today only. Okay. WhiteRabbitSite.com. If you already got it covered, you are already a meditative master, but you benefited from this and you want to support independent journalism or um, just somebody who is just trying to provide value and hoping and praying that that value meets on the other side and you could donate a tax deductible gift to the Hood Mystic Foundation, please do so at $ Hood Mystic 38, and that is on Cash App. So, with all that being said, this has been the presentation on Kether. Be sure to read the full article on Substack. Go through the Kether meditation protocol. Tonight, like I said, I'll work on a meditation video for those that are interested on a guided meditation where we'll go through the whole meditation protocol. It'll be timed, so it's probably gonna be like an hour long video, but an hour long guided meditation that can't make no guarantees because y'all know y'all kids is bad. But if you able to get into that particular zone within yourself, you will be able to experience the unknowable and experience the divine within yourself. But understanding, you gotta be wise enough, mature enough, and grounded enough to enter into those states. Because if you're not ready, you won't even if you won't even stand a chance. So, you know, what it takes to be ready, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I would say sincerity and a love for humanity, a love for your soul, and allowing your ego not to run the show. And what I've learned about people is that it's a hard ass. That's a hard sell. So I ain't even going, I mean, shit. You need the things that you need. You need to do the things that you need to do. I'm not your soul. You are your soul. So if you're willing to do this work, tap in, tap in, tap in. If you're not, then it's your loss. It's Hood with another video, and I will definitely see y'all on the flip side. Peace.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the morning. Call in now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. See, if that's not the realest shit in the world.
The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.